Hello everyone and welcome to Melyn Talks MMR LP and why you should almost never try hard. Okay, so this is a video that I actually just was thinking about this morning, and it's something, well, I've thought about it for a while, and the relationship between certain elements of math and how matchmaking is. It's also partially in response to me being sick and tired and annoyed of people talking about coin flip games. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But before I start this video, before I go into this video in earnest, I really want to clarify on what I mean by try hard, okay? What I mean by try hard is give your absolute 100% on every single game, okay? So there's tons of way to reach your 100%. And of course, nobody ever gets to 100%, but there's a bunch of ways to get close to 100%. You know, only playing on your best days, only playing when there are no distractions, only playing when you're not tilted, only playing when you're, thank you, October, only playing when you're at your 100% best and you're focused all the time. You're not making jokes. You're not thinking of anything fun. That's, you know, how you get the most out of yourself. That's what I mean by try hard. I'm not saying you should never try to win. You should always try to win, but trying to win is not the same as trying hard. Okay? You should have, it being a game, you should have some little bit of fun. And I'm going to back this up a little bit mathematically as well. Okay, so before we get into really the league aspect of it, I need a very light mathematical background. Okay, so it's going to be very, I've toned this down a lot. There used to be a lot more math in this talk, but now there's just a little bit of math. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about simple random walks. Okay, so a random walk is a mathematical thing that, again, I'm not going to go into. This is going to be a very, very non-math talk. I'm not even going to use math words. Okay. But in essence, a random walk can be illustrated by this picture of this drunk guy, okay? And this drunk guy, he may take a step south, he may take a step north. He doesn't know where he's going. He's just lurching around, okay? And a lot of times people talk about symmetric random walks, which means that the chance of going up is the same as the chance of going down. Or there can be asymmetric random walks where the chances of going up and down are not the same, okay? So regardless, the idea is that a random walk is something where, well, you might go down, you might go up. So already you can hopefully see where I'm going with this when I'm talking about your ELO and your MMR and your LP or whatever words you want to use, okay? Of course, this is a random process, so this is just one possible random walk. Maybe this I think is supposed to be a simple random walk, okay? Or symmetric random walk. But, you know, there can be more, all right? So this right here is a 180 simple symmetric random walks in Python. So every single color is a random walk, and it's going up or down randomly at every X value, or yeah. Okay, so what I propose to you is that League of Legends, your MMR, is similar to a random walk. It is, of course, not the same, and there are a lot of mathematical differences on why, but at its essence, it's very similar. Okay, no matter how good you are, you will not win every game. No matter how bad you are, you will not lose every game. All right. And so you can think about maybe this is your current LP or something, and these are all your possible futures, right? So this green one over here is doing really well. This blue one down here, well, maybe you're getting a little tilted. All right, so this is what I mean when I'm talking about random walks and how it relates to League of Legends, all right? That's all the math that there's going to be in here. There's a lot of really cool things about random walks and stochastic processes in general, but we are not going to get into them here. That is a separate talk, okay? So let's get into the nitty gritty, all right? So first off, we need to talk about some terms, right? MMR, LP, and why you should almost never try hard. Well, we need to talk about MMR. For those of you who don't know, MMR, matchmaking rating, is a secret. It's a hidden value. Some people call it ELO, that is used for matchmaking. It's a value that Riot doesn't tell anybody about. It's a value that certain sites like OPGG, or at least it used to tell you, like, give you like a fake score of what they thought your MMR was due to a probably complex algorithm taking into account your match history and the MMRs of other people. But essentially, all MMR is a hidden value that represents what Riot thinks your skill level is. which is, of course, almost always going to be different from your true skill level. So what I mean by true skill level is the MMR or LP that you would be at if you played a billion games or whatever, okay? Because eventually you will get to your skill level on average, okay? In the long run, okay? So, and of course, your matchmaking rating gets increased if you win games, and it gets decreased by you lose games. And that was some good English. And nobody knows exactly how it works because Riot probably doesn't even know exactly how it works, but we can speculate. And the specifics are not important. The basics are you win, your MMR goes up, you lose, your MMR goes down, okay? And it's separate from your LP. Okay? Your LP is the thing that you see, your league points, your division, your tier, your gold 5, 33 LP or whatever. That is what you see. That is what they have constructed artificially. I think I just had some cheese in my beard. That is what they have constructed artificially to give you a sense of pride and accomplishment or whatever memes you want to say about it. All right, because yeah, that's again another different conversation. Essentially, your promo series, your tier, your division, your LP, it's all just a bunch of smoke and mirrors for your MMR. MMR is the only thing that matters. Okay. And often your LP will lag behind your MMR because essentially because players want less volatile experiences, which is why when you lose at 0 LP, they don't want you to immediately get demoted or whatever and stuff like that. Contrary, on the other hand, some people think, oh, I lost at 0 LP, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Your LP is what doesn't matter. So the fact that you got +0 or whatever from that loss doesn't mean anything. The fact is your MMR changed just exactly the same as if you were in promo series. If you were at 100 LP, if you were at 70 LP, it changed. MMR does not care what your LP is. It's the other way around, okay? So losing at 0 LP is just as bad at winning at 100 LP or anything else. Or sorry, losing at 100 LP. Winning at 100 LP is definitely better than losing as far as your MMR is concerned, okay? Again, your LP doesn't really matter. So here's what I'm going to postulate and kind of mention to all of you as a sort of, we'll get to the conclusion eventually, but we're still doing exposition, is that if you play enough games without improving, you will eventually have your MMR reach your skill level, okay? So and what I mean by that is, let's say that I am a master tier player. I'm probably master or grandmaster, I'm not sure. But let's say I'm a master tier player. Well, if I have a bronze account, I'll lose some games, but eventually the account will be in master. And the account will stay in master because I'm a master level player. That is where my skill level is. Okay, so eventually my win rate will be 50%. That is the point of matchmaking. The point of matchmaking is to give you a 50% win rate. And if you don't have a 50% win rate, that doesn't mean you're a god. It doesn't mean you're the best person ever. It just means that you have recently or just not found your skill level. Okay, which is why, by the way, side rant, bragging about win rate doesn't really mean that much. I could have a 70% win rate in gold and be like, I'm the best player in the world, or a 50% win rate as rank 1. You'd have to play an insane number of games to get close to a 50% win rate at rank 1 because you'd have above a 50% win rate to get there, but that is beside the point, okay? Win rate doesn't really matter. All that matters is your skill level, which is in return is reflected by your MMR, which in return is reflected by your LP. Okay, so there's a lot of layers, and essentially it's diffusing the volatility of the game-to-game effect of randomness, essentially, as a sort of random process, which, again, getting teammates is random, which people are very, very adept at pointing out as they're forfeiting at 15 minutes, okay? So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. You have a 50% chance to win games when your MMR reaches your skill level. On average. I'm not saying that if you have a feeding top laner that you have a 50% chance to win the game. If you have a feeding top laner, well, that sucks. If you have a feeding top laner 10 games in a row, is that likely? No. Can it happen? Yes. That's called probability. Okay, that's how it works. So you can get unlucky just as anyone will. But if your MMR, if you play enough games, your MMR will approach your skill level and you have a 50% chance to win games. But there are other circumstances. There are other factors a lot of times. Okay? If I'm in gold right now, me, Melyn, Jason Barnett, the guy you know right here who's talking to you, if I'm in gold, I do not have a 50% chance to win the game because my MMR, which is similar to my LP, which is in gold, is lower than my skill level. I'm a master level player. Okay, so I don't have a 50% chance to win the game. And conversely, the people on the other team don't have a 50% chance to win the game either. They have lower than that because I am a Smurf or whatever. But on average, before the game even gets accepted, on average, you will have 50%. And so if you're, say, as I recently experienced 2 days ago, if you're playing ranked drunk and you're at your skill level, well, your skill level drunk is not the same as your skill level sober. Your skill level drunk is going to be, well, it's going to be somewhere down here, okay? And so of course, your skill level goes down. So then your MMR is above your skill level and you have a lower than 50% chance to win. And if you play a bunch drunk, it's going to look like a random walk where your chance of winning is lower than your chance of losing. And so there's going to be ups and downs and essentially going to look somewhat like Brownian motion, but you're going to be going down. Your LP is going to be dropping if you play League drunk almost all the time. All right. If, again, here's my true skill level or whatever. If I'm trying hard, and this is where things start wrapping together. If I'm trying hard, I'm effectively raising my skill level. So I will win more. And you might think, great, that's the point. That's why I'm trying hard, because I want to win. But if you try hard and raise your skill level, then if you give anything less than that 100%, because you're eventually going to reach your skill level of trying hard, if you give any less than 100%, you will have a low chance of winning. So essentially, and what my main point is if you try hard and raise your skill level, you will have to do that every single game to have a 50% win rate. And that is frankly exhausting and stressful. And I don't recommend it for anybody from like a mental point of view who is trying to be happy with their lives. And again, there's a lot of jokes, haha, playing League to have fun. But you should enjoy yourself. You should feel accomplished when you win. You should probably feel sad when you lose sometimes. But overall, you should get enjoyment out of the game. If you are not enjoying game, if League of Legends is making you miserable, please uninstall it right now. You will do yourself and other people a big favor. Okay, anyway, I'm getting on so many rants today. But the point is that trying hard all the time effectively raises your skill level, and you have to maintain that level of focus and that exhaustion and that stress in order to maintain your 50% win rate and feel like you belong. It's only a temporary fix. It's like taking, never mind, no drug references on this video, all right? But that's the main point, all right? So, of course, I'm not saying you should never try hard. There are some valid reasons to trying hard, right? I think the most common reason for people to try hard is when, you know, we've all been there. You have this Yasuo on your team who's feeding his brains out and telling everyone what a garbage player you are. And he's got like 20 deaths and he's verbally abusing you, and you make sure to hit that report button afterwards. And the very next game that Yasuo is on the other team and you say, oh, I got to try hard right now. I got to whip this guy. That is a very great reason to try hard, okay? And feel free to do it. That's one reason to try hard. You could be trying to reach a personal goal like, oh, I've always wanted to hit master, or oh, I want to hit gold before the end of the season so I get that victorious. I don't know what I don't pay attention to that stuff. But I think you get victorious skins if you get gold. And that's a valid reason as well. But this one is a little riskier because you have to make sure to realize that either you are going to forever have to try that hard, or you will not maintain that rank. And that's okay. Side note, by the way, hold on, this is a big point that I did not plan to talk about in this video. But right, let's go back to the drunk guy, this guy walking up and down. This is essentially what you look at. If I'm a master level player, I will eventually reach challenger by still being a master level player because it is random. Games are random. So eventually I will win enough to hit challenger. And I did that last season. I hit challenger and I somehow maintained it for a couple weeks before I just got so nervous and stopped playing. That doesn't make me a challenger level player necessarily. And I know a lot of people who support me think I'm too hard on myself, but that's just the simple math about it. If you look at a symmetric random walk, so a random walk where you can either move up or down with equal probability, that random walk will eventually, mathematically eventually, hit every single integer that exists. And of course, there are infinitely many integers, okay? And of course, this is where you start getting the splitting hairs of the fact that there are some differences between an actual random walk. For example, you have that skill level, which is the further away you get from the skill level, the more your probabilities of winning and losing change. And of course, then it's not really a random, I don't think it's a random walk anymore. I think it fails that classification. But again, just basically. So you will reach levels that you don't belong. I will sometimes go down to Diamond 2 or something. I will sometimes go up to Challenger. That's the way it is. Don't get disheartened by that. All right. Again, that was another side rant, but we're done with that side rant. I look at my notes, and my notes have another side rant immediately after this. Okay, another side rant. This is just going to turn into a Melyn Rants video, but I hate it when people say, oh, I can't get out of gold as a support player, or oh man, I can't get into Challenger as a jungle main. That is complete and utter garbage logic, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so statistically, let's without loss of generality, let's assume that we're all support players, okay? Or in this example, you are a support player. So statistically, your top laner will be as good as the other top laner, okay? On average. And of course, probability, average, that doesn't mean every game your top laner will be as good as the other team. That'd be idiotic. But statistically, your top laner, your jungler, your AD carry, even your AD carry, even your Ezreals, your mid lanes will be as good as their opponents. So statistically, in the long run, the only thing that affects whether you climb or fall is, are you better than your opponent? And because Riot has, and the meta has shifted it down to exact roles, yes, supports are against supports. If on average I am more effective than a gold 3 support, I will eventually get out of gold 3. If on average I am about as effective as a gold 3 support, I will stay in gold 3 forever. Okay, I really like talking about gold. I think it's one of the coolest. Well, never mind. I'm not talking about that. And so what does the efficacy, maybe not the right word, what does the power of a role mean in terms of your climb? It will change the volatility. It will change the slope, maybe. So if jungle is a very powerful role, then I might climb to Grandmaster faster if it's a strong role, but it doesn't stop you from climbing, okay? It just affects the speed of which, okay? The only consistent variable is you and whether you are better than your opponent. And so that's why I just get annoyed whenever I hear that particular rant, okay? So I'm wrapping up the video. If you have questions, ask them in the Discord and I'll answer them later. Otherwise, if you don't, I'll just end the video soon. But my conclusion is essentially that first off, your MMR is the only thing that really matters. Your league points, your LP, and your division, and your tiers, and all that stuff will reflect your MMR, but it's really not that important. So winning and losing is the most important thing, which in turn reflects on your skill level. So when people say, how do I get out of bronze? The best answer every single time is just focus on getting better at the game, getting better at everything. Not winning a specific, not like, there's no like trick to it. Just get better, and then your skill level will go up, and your MMR will eventually catch up to your skill level, and your LP as well. And that's really how you climb. And eventually you will reach your skill level. You will be hard stuck, which is, sorry for saying such a curse word on a video. But I don't know if it's 1 or 2 words, but again, that's a separate rant, which I'm not doing in this video. But eventually you will reach your skill level, and some people can constantly improve and they will constantly climb, maybe plateau it a little bit and climb some more. And if you try hard, that skill level goes up, requiring you to exert that level of effort in every single game, which is very stressful and somewhat depressing and hard. So I think it's mostly better to just try to win the game, try to improve at the game, but don't stress out, don't freak out, don't need to win the game. Don't ever put yourself in a position where you queue up for a League of Legends game and are not willing to lose. Okay? Always be willing to lose. Always, you know, if you value your happiness and sanity, unless you're a very particular person, just play a little relaxed, I think. Try to win the game, but enjoy yourself. And again, there are exceptions to pretty much everything I've said this video, but in general, it's something I was thinking about and something that I thought you guys would be interested in. So thank you everyone for watching, and may your enemies feel the thorns embrace.